Welcome guys, how's it going today? Alright, so today we're going to take a look at a Marvel Legends Quasar. I've been trying to find this guy forever. He was a Walgreens exclusive, and I do say was, and what I mean by that is I went to my local comic slash toy shop and was talking to the guy there and noticed that he had some, and I was like, oh wow, you've got some of those. Did you get them at Walgreens, or where'd you get them? He goes, no, actually, surprise. He says, if I go to my distributor, which is Diamond Distributors, he's like, it now lets me order exclusives. He's like, I can get Quasar, I can get Baron Zemo, and named off a few others that were exclusives, mostly all Walgreens exclusive. He's like, I don't know why, but it's letting me order them. So I ordered a case of each, and here you go. So apparently these aren't exclusives anymore. Probably not for the big box stores, Walmart, Target, stuff like that, because you have to go in and specifically search for them and find them and order them. But your local shop might actually be able to get these in, so might be worth having them check with their distributor to find out. Anyway, let's take a look at this thing real quick. We got it here in the box. Nice artwork on the side, digging that. We got nice artwork on the back. Always appreciate good artwork as opposed to just a picture of the figure. Same artwork here on the side. Basic figure packaging for Marvel Legends. We got our UPC there for anybody that wants to see that. And now let's go ahead and crack him open and see what we've got inside. Alright, so here we have him out of the package, and I think looking pretty damn good. But let's talk about accessories first real quick, because there's not a lot here, but at least we do get some accessories, which is always appreciated. First up, we do have a couple of flying hands here. The only spare set of hands that he has, which is fine. He doesn't need any gun-holding hands or anything like that, since he has his quantum bands, which are his weapon. So flying hands are appreciated there, along with the fists that he has on the figure. And of course we have two fist effects, these cosmic fiery fist effects that we've seen before, but that's fine. Not a big deal. It works. It makes it look like he's punching with power if you put him on there, depending on how you want to display him. So now let's take a look at the figure itself. And I gotta say, first off, I'm biased. Okay, I actually am a big fan of Quasar. I started reading Quasar in comics in the mid-'80s when I was, 8 years old, give or take. I've always liked the character of Wendell Vaughn. I like his power set with the quantum bands. I like him as a character. I've always just really enjoyed just his stories and his just his personality and everything, and I just like him. Of course, I always have kind of favored the cosmic characters, and he's definitely one of them. And while I know there have been some complaints about this figure, one of the big ones being that it is on the Bucky Cap mold, which is an older mold, I know. And one of the big complaints about that, other than it just being an older mold, is that it's not big and bulky enough. That Quasar should be big and bulky, and I completely disagree. Quasar was never a big, bulky guy. He was in shape, he was muscular, but he was a fairly thin guy. I kind of equate him very similar to, not quite as skinny, but similar to Spider-Man, to Peter Parker. He was not a big, bulky, hulking guy. And I personally think the Bucky Cap mold works perfectly for him. Again, I know a lot of people had complaints, but I think it works great. I think this is the perfect size for him. Yeah, it'd be nice if he had butterfly joints and that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice if he had some upgrades, but I'm very happy with this as the mold that they went with. So basic Bucky Cap stuff as far as articulation and everything. I mean, there's really nothing new here. You've got the bicep cuts, you've got the same hip articulation, you've got the same rotation and tilt and everything on the feet there, and it's typical stuff. Double jointed knees, double jointed elbows, bicep cuts, thigh cuts, ab crunch. It's basic stuff here, but I think this is a great figure to do that basic stuff with. The quantum bands look really good. They're painted well. They look nice. I like the bold yet simplistic nature of the costume and the coloring. I think we've got a perfect blue. It could be a little lighter, to be a little more comic book accurate, but still, I like it. I dig it. And a nice, bright, bold red. We've got the nice, nicely painted symbol there on his chest. I love the starry background in the back. I know in the comics it was supposed to be a black background with stars. They just left it the blue cape. But it's a darker blue. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I really am. This does not bother me at all. There's nothing about this figure that bothers me, honestly. I as a Quasar fan, like this. And the standout here is the face and hair sculpt. Now, I know this hairdo is probably a little dated. This is more like his hair was back in the 80s. I don't care. That's when I used to read him. That's when I became a fan of Quasar, and I think the hair is done perfectly. We've got a nice two-tone. You know, you got the lighter and the darker blonde colors in there that look great. The face looks exactly the way I remember him back in the comics, and it's just really, really well done. I'm just really happy with this figure. You know, I think they did a great job. I think personally they picked the perfect buck for this character. I think, other than really the only complaint I can make is that the inside of the cape isn't black with white stars. That's it. Other than that, there's nothing about this figure that I really would have asked for or change in this. Again, butterfly joints would be nice, but not really because he as a character needs them. He doesn't. He is not the type of character that needs to have butterfly joints to get into certain poses or things like that. He's not Spider-Man. Would it be nice? Sure, yeah, because it's modern articulation, but that is not something this character needs. So again, the inside of the cape is the only thing I could possibly think of as a point of me being slightly dissatisfied with this figure. Other than that, I love it. I'm very, very happy with how this guy turned out. So now let's do some comparisons and see what he looks like stacked up some other figures. Okay, so let's compare him to a couple other cosmic characters. On the left, we got Adam Warlock. On the right, we've got Silver Surfer. I think he goes perfect with these two. They are all roughly the same height. Of course, Adam Warlock is also on the Bucky Cap body. Silver Surfer is not, but they look fantastic together. I love this lineup. These are three of my favorite cosmic characters, and gotta say, it looks really, really good. Alright, so for a couple of slightly larger cosmic characters, we've got Death's Head 2 and Thanos. Great representation on both. I think he works perfectly with both of those as far as being size appropriate. They, of course, would be about a foot taller, give or take, than Quasar would be, and I think this works perfectly. Alright, now we're going to throw up against a couple of imports here. On the left, we've got SH Figuarts. This is Infinity War Captain America. And on the right, we've got Figma. This is from the first Avengers movie. We've got also Captain America. I think he's a little bigger than he should be. I feel like Steve Rogers should be bigger than Wendell Vaughn, and so both of these characters, both of these figures are a little bit shorter than him. I don't think that works right, but if you're gonna fudge it, I think you could probably work with the SH Figuarts, but definitely the Figma is a no-go. Alright, now just for shiggles, we're gonna throw them up against a couple of 7-inch scale figures. On the left, we got ZD Toys Iron Man Mark 6, and on the right, we've got McFarlane DC Multiverse Parallax. One is a cosmic character, the other sometimes Iron Man is. But either way, look, it doesn't really work very well. Certainly not against Parallax. With the Iron Man, I think you can make it work simply because you can say Iron Man is a guy in a suit of armor, so he's going to be taller than your average human. Maybe you can make that work on the shelf, but it certainly would be character dependent as far as whether or not Quasar would work well with any 7-inch scale figures. Alright, so there you have it, guys. The only thing left to talk about is the price, and of course, standard retail price on this guy is $24.99, so $25. Depending on where you get it, you might be able to find it a little bit cheaper. I've heard some Walgreens are putting these things on clearance, or depending on where you go, it might be a little bit more as well. Certainly, if you go to eBay, Mercari, places like this, where you're basically dealing with the aftermarket, it's definitely going to be more than just the $25 that it is at retail. That's just the way these things go, especially with exclusives, which, as I said at the beginning of the video, this one doesn't appear to be anymore, but check with your local toy shop to be sure about that. So, all in all, I personally really like this guy. Look, if you like cosmic figures, this guy's great. If you like Quasar, this guy's great. I mean, really the only complaints here are either Yeah, it is an older buck, but personally, I don't care. And some people thinking that Quasar should be bigger than this, I don't think so. I think he's the perfect size. So I've got nothing but love for this figure. This thing's going to look great on the shelf. I'm certainly going to appreciate it, and hopefully, if you decide to pick it up, you will too.